Dr. Nirmala, the only green card that I knew about earlier was the one which took you to the US, but Dr. Nirmala is going to talk about a clean and green card for the citizens of Chennai.
Actually, I must make a confession. I am not a waste management professional. I have more experience in lab and clinical diagnostics and research based experience. I'm a PhD in immunology of tuberculosis, but my passion is cleanliness, and we've heard so much about cleanliness throughout this session, and I felt that somewhere something is lacking in every program. Every idea is very fantastic, but somewhere it falls through because the dots are not connected properly, and so I just thought I'll give you this presentation, and my idea is to integrate various concepts and put them all together in a package so that we get a more successful outcome. So the mission is, of course, clean and green Chennai. Next slide, please. Yeah, this I don't need to delve on this slide much because you've already heard about what waste does to us, water pollution, air pollution. These are the problems. We have this cleanliness drives that takes place in the beaches. People one day get together and then they collect plastic and all the garbage, and then they say so many tons were collected. And then what is the use? That's one day affair. And where does it all go? It lands up in the landfill, and nothing much is achieved by this kind of exercise. It's got to be something ongoing, and it's got to be a continuous program. On and off, once in 3 months you have some program, cleanliness drive. It doesn't seem to help. Anyway, this is about garbage. Why it really the point is that waste segregation at source should be a rule. It cannot be left to individuals, as we have had earlier presentations on that. Extremely good idea about having the garbage bin to create compost and all that. But think of old people in the house. They know their awareness is very high and they would love to do it, but physically they are not able to carry out. Otherwise, young couples are there, they are busy, they don't have the time to do it. So there are a lot of constraints when you leave it to individuals. So next slide, please. So what I'm trying to say is we should have a more integrated way of approaching this, not just leave it to individuals. Get the government support as well. It should be a kind of a partnership-based thing. First step, let me first explain this. Of course, the first step is separating the waste in compostable and non-compostable. And then, apart from segregating the waste, we should also integrate it with the terrace garden concept. Bring in a green cover thing. I think we have a presentation subsequently about kitchen garden, so I don't need to go into those details. But although everybody loves to have a garden and all that, how many people have the time, energy to go into these things and manage it successfully? It's an art, and you need to learn all the various nuances of building a garden, terrace garden. It's easy to say so and say it's a great concept. But when it comes to carrying it out, it's very, very difficult in the long run. It has to be sustainable. These are the issues that I would like to talk about, and how to make it sustainable. Then the third step is, of course, we had this Kuppathatty.com presentation. Again, they must be knowing very well how difficult they have to. You need volumes when you are collecting plastic or whatever, bottles or anything. The minute you have to transport it to a far off place, a lot of fuel consumption and all that. So all these things fall through. These kind of programs don't remain sustainable because of the economics and the logistics involved in this. Second, yeah, this is just some example of how a terrace garden can look. And what is the benefit of having a terrace garden? Terrace garden, if you have one, and if you have it's not only for your own individual use that I'm thinking about. It's about the whole locality. I remember reading in the paper once some municipal persons said that how do you increase green cover? Where is the land that is there to increase green cover in Chennai? Why look at land? Look at the terraces of all the buildings. And if you leave it to individuals and buildings, what happens is there are 12 residents, 11 may agree, 1 may say no, there'll be insects coming, there'll be bats, there'll be rats, and all these kind of objections will come, and why it will fall through. So it's very difficult, even however committed and you want to do it, there will be obstacles to do it, or if you leave it to a private person to do that. Next step, please. So yeah, now the point is you need incentive. What I'm trying to say is you need incentive to do these things. You can't just leave it to them and piecemeal. If in a flat 10 people are there, 2 people do it, the results are not seen, because it's got to be done in a very massive scale if you want to actually be successful in this whole program of bringing in a clean and green Chennai. So I just thought of why not the government issues a card for people who participate in this kind of exercise. Give them a clean and green card, a smart card like thing, like any credit card sized one. Next slide. Then you have a tie-up of people, like just now somebody mentioned about carbon credits. That's very valid. Now if you are participating in this, you are actually improving your carbon emission, you're reducing the pollution and all that, so you get carbon credits for this, and that can translate into incentives when you go to malls purchasing, and when you book tickets. Next slide. Where you can use the card. The fact that you are participating in this program is you can have a serial number on the card which says, and if you're more involved, then you can have better cards, privilege can increase. So when you book tickets, you get this concession because you are part of this program. Yeah, and then you can have a website. Now first thing is like so many people are here, I'm sure there'll be so many more ideas Mr. Sumant got, which he could not because of time constraint, he couldn't bring them all here. But there are so many ideas that are there which we need to integrate. For example, like simple things like say biodiesel from plastic. From rubber tire you can make mats. Now how much of rubber tire is required? How much? Where do you collect it? How do you collect it? You can't just collect it a few and then transport it all the way and to some industry and do it. So you need volumes for everything here that's mentioned here. Like say coconut shells to adhesive, you can make a adhesive biodegradable that too. So these kind of things can have a impact if it's done in large volumes. So and then recycling, all that also we have heard lots about recycling, these things. Then now what the point is, next. Yeah, we need to think of, take up a pin code, one pin code as a representative area and connect all these things, that concepts. We involve the government, involve the private people, residents, create awareness. How do we do that? We can take this thing, we can visit the schools. There's going to be one presentation by Mr. Paperman Matthew. He's been doing a great job visiting school, creating awareness. Similarly, we can have in one area, list all the schools, list all the hospitals, then take volunteers, students as volunteers, go and educate them, and then go to the slums and use their services to take care of the gardens, take care of the segregation, and that way the hotels in that area, the eateries, whatever waste, food is wasted, they can also be utilized nicely by giving coupons to the slum dwellers who are working for this project. and that way overall waste management in a particular area needs to be thought of. And next slide. Yeah, how can all this happen? Now I've been talking in bits and pieces. It's not very coherent, I feel. But how to make it coherent and make it a success is to form a team, not leave it to individuals and to their fancies and likes and dislikes. Just make it, enforce it from the government has to take initiative, provide the infrastructure, provide the land to operate these kind of schemes, and then the task forces to visit all these places that I mentioned in the previous slide, and then they should give us the spot. It should be localized, not take it, carry it far off to landfills and areas where the transport fossil fuel, if you are using to transport these goods, then the program does not become a success because so much of money is wasted on fuel. So we should have local areas where the segregation takes place. Locally, all the waste management professionals get together and study this thing, how best each of these components can be utilized very effectively. They can be translated into some good products. Entire area, all the terraces of imagine the amount of vegetables that can be grown if every flat was converted into a terrace garden. Then the local, all those, it should be in like an MOU should be signed with the building people. It's not that something grows there, they pluck it and use it. It can be sold in the local market. That way the fuel cost of transporting vegetables will also come down, and you get cheap priced vegetables because it's grown locally. Everybody must have heard about the 7 Mile diet and things like that. So all that can be put into practice if the government puts its is committed and forms a kind of a partnership with the private and ensures we can have a successful program.
Yeah.
Next slide. It's almost done. Yeah. So the bonus, that card will also give you incentive. The whole idea is there should be some incentive and there should be cooperation from private and government to implement this. And one area can be taken as an example and tried, and then later on it can be scaled up. Okay, last word.
Yeah.
See, if this is a very, very comprehensive plan, a very mega project, and one has to really go, a lot of waste management professionals have to sit and work it out. And and the government also needs to participate because they have to provide their land and their vehicles and things like that to take it forward. So if you do it well. Otherwise, we tell the government, don't do anything at all. Just stop picking up the waste, leave it. We'll take care of it ourselves. Then it will be like a privatization of the waste management. There are so many private players. It automatically, if you realize tomorrow that the corporation lorry is not going to pick up the waste, you will on your own find the ways and means to deal with it. And automatically, every street there will be some waste management professional who will deal with the waste, and he knows how best to provide a business out of this.